What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package and infrastructure update, and daily news report for Thursday, August 19th. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. Today, I actually want to bring you some more shocking news that's regarding the next stimulus package. We're also going to address the fourth stimulus check, where we are with that. We're going to address some changes to the infrastructure plan and the stimulus package moving forward, and bring you some kind of the talks on what is going on regarding mask mandates. So hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day so far. If you are, could you do me a favor? Go ahead, hit that like button. It does help out the channel. But like I always say, I really like to know that you guys are having a great day. So here's what we know as of this morning. First, the American people are still suffering. They are still suffering, and Congress understands this. Lawmakers are saying they are sympathetic to where we're at. They understand many people are still struggling, and they're trying to get more to the American people. But the real question is do they care enough to make something happen soon? Well, like everyone always says, actions speak louder than words, and as of right now, the answer is no. Congress is not doing everything in their power to ensure that the American people are getting some relief right now. They are waiting. They're doing that wait and see approach. That is not good. This morning, the Labor Department released its weekly jobless claims, and they came in at just 348,000. Okay, 348,000. Now that's a big number, but that's also the least that it's been since March of 2020. So that is good. The new unemployment claims are coming in lower and lower every single week, which does point to the fact that yes, we are seeing more people get off of unemployment, go back to work. Well, all lawmakers are saying that that is what we need. If more people go back to work, the economy will be able to reopen. But they do not factor in new COVID cases, hospitalizations, a slowing vaccination rate. We're not seeing it increase like it was in the beginning stages, and this is turning into a major problem. Before the pandemic, we were averaging about a little bit over 200,000 new unemployment cases per week. So we still have a long ways to go, but experts say we are getting closer. Now, while all these reports are starting to come out, we are also seeing that Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, these are two moderates in the Senate. These are two that are trying to actually advise House centrists on how to push for the bipartisan infrastructure deal. This is that $1.2 trillion bill that was passed by the Senate a week ago. Well, according to more reports, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema have been against the larger $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill ever since it was announced. They do not support this. They do not want to see this pass. So now they're actually using House centrists to do their bidding. They're going to use them to help fight this. They don't want to see the $3.5 trillion bill move forward, but what we know is that that $3.5 trillion bill, that has all the additional relief for the American people. So if you're struggling and the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill passes, you will still be struggling. But if you are currently struggling and that $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, also known as a stimulus package, if that were to pass, most say you probably would not be struggling. There's so much in there for the American people. There's so much available funding that there could be a lot more that comes to us. We could see a stimulus check come out of it, but we will see, and I'll address that in just a minute. But what we are hearing is that right now there's a group of about nine to 10 House centrists that are actually threatening to block the budget resolution vote this coming week. Nancy Pelosi and the House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer have stated they will hold a vote on August 24th. It's going to be next Tuesday. And so we are going to see. We're just going to wait and see if this were to pass. But right now, what they're trying to do is they're going to pass that 3.5 budget resolution not the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. That's the bipartisan bill. And that's what House centrists want. That's what Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema want. But that's not what Nancy Pelosi and the progressives are trying to do. Now, Nancy Pelosi and progressives, they are saying they will block the $1.2 trillion bill until after the $3.5 trillion bill gets passed. And all the stimulus and the majority of what the American people need and want, again, is in the $3.5 trillion bill. This will most likely have a decent amount of funding for pork projects in order to get some Democrats on board and vote in favor of this bill. But at the same time, it's just going to buy Democratic votes. But at the same time, it does have a decent amount of money for the American people. According to many, there's so much stimulus in this next bill that this must be passed. Now, here's what's going to happen. And this is what experts are telling us. Being that progressives have Nancy Pelosi on their side right now, the $3.5 trillion budget resolution vote will happen. They are pushing for this, and progressives want to see moderates come out against the bill. They want to see them actually publicly come out against the bill, because if they come out against this bill, what's going to happen is it's going to be a make or break moment. It's going to see what the Democratic plans are to move forward. But what we are hearing from the Republican side, and the reason why Republicans are being so quiet, and right now some are saying that they don't even know if they would vote for the $1.2 trillion budget or the bipartisan bill, the infrastructure bill, because they want to see what the House is going to do. So Republicans are staying quiet because right now, if the House, the centrists and the progressives are going to be fighting one another, Nancy Pelosi's kind of in the middle, what's going to happen is it's going to hurt the Democratic Party, and Republicans are actually going to benefit from it when we get to the midterm elections in 2022. So right now, everybody has a plan, but the plan is not, let's get the American people some money. The plan is, hey, let's try to win this battle because we have an election next year. Now, progressives, they're a little bit more into it for the American people. But at this time, progressives don't have the majority, and that's where things get very tricky. We also know that the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she stated that Biden's infrastructure plan is just a down payment on the economy. And I asked you guys this yesterday. And we heard a lot of reports from lawmakers as well. But I asked you guys yesterday, should we be passing the infrastructure bill, or should we be more focused on stimulus, because right now the American people are hurting? And everybody in the comments said stimulus, that roads and bridges don't put food on the table. And they don't, unless you are building those roads and bridges. But it takes a little while. It takes a while to get everything in place to build a road or new bridge. Here's what we know. According to Janet Yellen, she says now is the time to pass infrastructure as well. But she wasn't comparing infrastructure versus stimulus. She was just being asked, should we continue to move forward with infrastructure? And her answer was yes. It makes sense to do this now while money is cheap. But lawmakers are beginning to discuss stimulus over infrastructure as we speak, so things could be changing very soon. Even though Bernie Sanders has proposed a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, there's still a decent amount of stimulus included. We do not know what's going to be in this bill. What we know is Bernie Sanders and the Progressive Party, they have pretty much put the framework together. Okay, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, and President Biden have worked this deal out, and they have put the framework together to know how much money is going to every single committee, and it totals $3.5 trillion. What we don't know is how are the committees going to spend that money, and that's what's going to be interesting as we move forward. But again, the committees are prepared to work on this, but they can't start working on this until the budget resolution is passed. That's what Nancy Pelosi and the House is planning to do next week. So, while we see what happens there, okay, again, lawmakers are going to continue to push for stimulus checks. because they are seeing that the American people are still suffering. Many say that we can't wait for the pandemic to worsen before we provide relief. Some argue that waiting until it is too late is not an option any longer. And I love this statement for one simple fact. Last year around this exact same time when Nancy Pelosi was trying to negotiate, okay, with former President Donald Trump, with former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, when she was negotiating, it was all about we need to get this done. We need to get it passed quickly. However, now and things are we can't wait. Waiting is not an option. But last year it was waiting is an option. Now it's we cannot wait. So, according to a couple reports this morning, the White House agrees that they need to be proactive this time around. They need to be proactive. They cannot wait for things to happen and then react. Okay? They cannot have that response this time. They need to be proactive. But we will see if that actually happens. Okay? Honestly, I don't know. I hope that the White House and lawmakers are being proactive, but at this time, again, actions speak louder than words. The answer would be no. So, could we see the White House demand stimulus? Yes, we could. Could we see them demand a $2,000 stimulus check? Yes, absolutely yes. But keep in mind that stimulus is going to depend on many other factors as well. Could we see a $2,000 stimulus check if unemployment benefits do not get extended? According to multiple Senate aides, yes, we could see this. But it's still one of those things that's up for discussion. There are still multiple members of Congress that are discussing the possible extension of unemployment benefits. Right now, it's really up in the air. Some say this is an absolute no, this will not get extended. Others say that they need to reconsider because things are changing. The tide is turning. COVID cases are increasing. If businesses were to shut down again, how would the American people survive? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But could we see stimulus checks if rental assistance is still too slow to be dispersed? Yes. Experts say yes. This is something that we could see. Could we see a stimulus check if data comes in from the child tax credit payments and it's not as effective or it's not doing enough to the American people? Yes. And some say that $250 to $300 per month per child is not enough. Now, just to give you an idea, $300 per month is about $10 per day. $10 per day is a decent amount of money. However, and this is where there's a big if lawmakers are looking at trying to provide children with an adequate diet, okay, healthier options, $10 per day is a decent amount of money. However, it might not be enough. According to a few reports, it needs to be closer to about $15 per day. That's about $5 per meal. So we will see if this were to increase. If it does, was it $15 per day? Was that $450 per month? It's possible. It's possible, but again, you got to keep in mind the $300 per month child tax credit payment, that's for children between the ages of 0 and 5. But who do you think eats more? Children between 6 and 17. So some are saying that even though, yes, younger children might need additional help, maybe for childcare, okay, and other things like that, maybe just clothing and stuff like that. Gotta understand, older kids need additional assistance as well. So some are discussing maybe instead of $250 and $300 per month checks, maybe it just needs to be a flat fee. Because yes, even though babies might need more assistance and child care, the older children, okay, the young adults, teenagers, they're going to need more food and more nutrition. And so that's where things are starting to get a little bit tricky. Is how do we decide who gets what and how much they actually receive? So all these things are going to take time. But yes, experts do anticipate an additional stimulus check. As to how much it's going to be, again, nobody knows. But will it be a monthly check? In most people's opinions, that is a no. So just keep that in mind. The only stimulus check that's going to come out monthly will be the child tax credit payments. We could potentially see an earned income credit tax payment. Yesterday, Senator Ron Wyden, he's proposing a middle income income tax. And again, so there's discussions out there. I'll address that. That's actually called, I think, the something act. I don't know. I don't remember, the Dash Act or something like that. So I'll bring that up in a different video, but we'll address that later on today. But one thing I just want to say is that there are discussions happening right now. Now, regarding COVID and the mask mandates, according to multiple reports, right now, as COVID cases increase, and with actually little to nothing that the American people can do other than just get vaccinated and wear a mask, right? But what we're hearing is that the majority of people that have already gotten the vaccine are the ones that are going to get the vaccine. So the rest of the people just don't want it. And that's completely fine. But they say we still need to mask up. So as of right now, if you've got the vaccine, you continue to wear a mask, there's actually little that you can do outside of that. So the Biden administration is actually directing the Department of Education to take action against governors blocking mask mandates. Now, one of the things that we're seeing right now is that children who are going back to school, we're starting to see younger adults and children start to test positive for COVID. Now, they've always tested positive, but this is actually ramping up because of the start of the new school year. So Biden says that politicians are using this time to turn public safety into political disputes for their own political gain. And he says he is done with seeing intimidation and threats against school boards. So we will see what's going to happen, but this will most likely play out over the next couple of weeks. So as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share any news and updates. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.